Hey, what's going on, good people? Armand Owens here, once again with another episode of the Daily Unsung Leader. And today, I want to discuss one of the biggest misconceptions about leadership there is. One of the biggest misconceptions about leadership that is. And that is that leadership equates to control. Right? That leadership equates to control. Well, you may ask, hey, how do you know this? Well, turns out, for me, this has been the thorn in my side my entire career. This is one of the biggest things for me that I've had to overcome. Right, so I've typically laid out my dirty laundry, aired my dirty laundry, so that others can learn from this channel, and that's going to always continue. So I just want to let you know, for me, this was and has been an absolute struggle. Right. Because when it comes to getting things accomplished, for me, if no one in the room is going to take over, I will jump in there and I will take it. And I will own it, and it will be with me from start to finish. All right. If you look on Strength Finders, there's a leadership assessment that you can kind of take to understand your most dominant attributes. And one of my most dominant attributes is command, right? Because when in absence of leadership, I'm going to try to fill that gap. And with that comes some bad stuff that comes alongside of that, right? Because for me, it is very easy for me to take over situations. Very easy for me to come in, swoop in, and micromanage the situation. Say you're going to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You're going to do it in that order. Don't rearrange anything. Any way, shape, or form. But what does that do to your team? What does that do for your team? Because, like I said at the outset, leadership does not equate to control. The essence of what you're trying to do with your team is get the best results. But if it's just limited to your expertise, there's a whole nother piece of the pie that's missing. You just one slice. I'm just one slice. I would tell my chief petty officers, and this is a lot, not for me. It's a lot more for me than it is for them. But I tell them, I was like, look, I can always be right as a leader. I can always exert my dominance as the CMC, as the command master chief, as the leader, to say, hey, we're going to go do things this way. But I have 24 years worth of experience. And currently, within my team, within my Chiefs mess, we got about 1,000 years worth of experience. And who am I to lean more on my 24 years versus the thousands of years that existed within the Chiefs mess? All the perspective, all the collective brilliance that exists within that team, I'm going to limit that solely because I want to be the one with the answer. Right? And for me, I think that controlling, that commanding presence in terms of the going overboard, right, where it's no longer leadership, it's ego, because you want to get the credit. There's a part of me that creeps up, that whispers in my ear, "Hey, you the man. Hey, you the man. Yeah." And you believe your own hype. And when things go well, you want to get the credit. You want people to look at you and like, yeah, look at how talented he or she is. But it's that leadership. Because leadership is the complete opposite of that. Right? You show up, you present yourself when things are going wrong, and you take ownership of those things. And when things are going well, slide out of frame. Right? Because it's not about you. It's not about you. So when we approach things from a very controlling perspective, there's a couple of things that happen. Number one, you get no feedback. Nobody wants to share ideas. No one wants to share perspectives. Right? So there is no synergy. There is no collaboration. It's just you out on the island by yourself. You out on the island with your own expertise, with no input whatsoever. And that is not effective. Second thing that happens is you begin to be extremely micromanaging, right? Where you now have to insert yourself into every aspect of the project, every aspect of the team. And what does that do? You legitimately violate the first law of John Maxwell's 21 indisputable laws of a leader. You put a lid on the people in your team because they can never ascend higher than your level of expertise, even though they may be smarter than you. But what ends up happening, your insecurities begin to speak. Your ego begins to speak because you recognize they're more talented than you, they're smarter than you, they're more adept than you, and you want to squelch it. No, you will do things my way. That's not leadership. It's not leadership. When you step in, insert yourself into every part of the process because you feel that your way is the only way, that ain't leadership. Because you're not developing the people that come behind you. You're not developing the people that you have the privilege of leading. And what else happens? Well, everybody starts to go for their own, right? They start to perform in spite of you. Sometimes it works, but most times it doesn't. That controlling leader, the things that I had to deal with early on in my career, trying to be mistaking controlling for being a leader. I had some of my people turn their backs on me. It's like, I'll leave you out on this island by yourself. You want to take it? Yeah, I'm just gonna worry about my stuff over here. You can handle it because you get no backup, you get no input, and you're just a bunch of people going in different directions. So, had to check myself. Right? Had to answer my own. Had to confront my own, insecurities. Why am I fearful of somebody else's expertise? Why am I so arrogant and egotistical that it shuts down everybody else in my team? Right? That's a hard thing to do, right? But it's necessary because leadership is not control. But that is one of the biggest misconceptions about leadership, and it's one of the biggest things that leaders across the board struggle with. We think that we have the ability to put the strings on everybody and control them like Geppetto. But they can only go as far as we can. And our job as leaders is to facilitate an environment where people have the opportunity to do even better than we even did. Because people can't get to a level higher than what they believe they can be if they're being squandered and stifled by your insecurities, by my insecurities. Because that's the thing that ignites that controlling nature, is that those insecurities. All right? How do you see yourself? All right? Do you care more about the recognition than the mission? Because if you're controlling, that could be right at the root of it. Have you not prepared? Are you inadequate in your ability to properly train the people that you have the privilege of leading? Therefore, now you have assumed every duty and responsibility in that team because you haven't properly prepared them. See how it always comes back on us? See how it always comes back on us? Because as a leader, control can't be the prominent thing. We always want to hold on to our piece of the pie. This is mine. This is mine. But there's no growth. There's no growth with closed hands, man. There's no collaboration with closed hands. Right? And nobody ever did anything significant by themselves. Right? Nobody ever did anything significant by themselves. It takes a team. It takes collaboration. And controlling is not the thing that's going to get you where you want to get. It's not going to solidify your leadership prowess. Just know that. Right? There's a couple of things we can control. We can control our reactions. Right? Instead of reacting, we can respond. One of the things that we have to keep in mind is that our charge, right, is to facilitate an environment where people can grow, where they can prosper, and where they can be, better than they ever thought they could be. And being controlling is not the environment that's going to get your people where they need to get. Right? So if you find yourself in any of these statements, you got to make sure you check yourself before you wreck yourself. And before you not only wreck yourself, but before you wreck the people that you got the privilege of leading. All right? So hopefully you got something out of this. And hopefully, if you did see some of yourself in this, because like I said, I see myself, it's something I always have to check, because, I have that as a part of my personality, going in and want to take over. I get it. I know. I understand. But that's not leadership. That's not leadership. And that's not going to ultimately get you the results for the people that you got the privilege of leading that you want to get. So with that, Unsung Leader, I'm out of here. Like, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Provide feedback. Let me know what you want me to talk about. I'll be back next Friday. Peace.